Good morning, students. Today, let us see a topic under Unit 4 of problem solving using C++. Inheritance. Inheritance is a method through which one class inherits the properties from its parent class. Inheritance is a feature in which one new class is derived from the existing ones. The new class derived is termed a derived class, and the current class is termed as the parent or base class. Inheritance is one of the most essential features of OOPS. Rather than defining a new data functions while creating a class, you can inherit the existing class's data functions. The derived class takes over all the properties of the parent class and adds some new features to itself. The advantage of C++ inheritance is code reusability. Now you can reuse the members of your parent class, so there is no need to define the member again. So less code is required in the class. Now let us see the types of inheritance. So we have single inheritance, multiple inheritance, hybrid inheritance, multi-level inheritance, hierarchical inheritance. Now, what is a subclass base class? A subclass is a base class whose properties are inherited. Superclass is a derived class, right, that inherits the properties of another class. Now, access specifier. Keywords public, protected, private are the three keywords that are called access specifiers. So, we have private, public, and protected. Now, public, protected, and private inheritance in C++. Now, public inheritance. When members of the base class are derived publicly, then the protected members of the base class will become protected members of in the derived class, and public members of the base class will become the public members in the derived class. Now, private inheritance by default. If the derived class inherits the properties of the base class in private mode, then both public and protected members will become private in the derived class. Protected mode. If the derived class inherits the properties of the base class in protected mode, then both public and protected members will become protected in the derived class. Private members of the base class are not accessible to the derived class. Now let us see the visibility of inherited members. So we have private, public, and protected, right? So depending on the combination of the base class and derived class, we'll be having the lifetime of the inherited members, right? Now let us see an example. So you have base class. Now here derived one. So we have the derived class. So we have given A as public, B as protected, and C as private in the base class. Now here A is public, so A is accessible, right? So B is protected, so B is accessible. C is private to base, so C is not accessible. Now we have derived 2 for, but we have given it as public. Here it is private base, here it is public base. So here A is accessible, B is accessible. So here, since it is private, both will come under private mode. Here it will be same as the base class of public and protected. Now C is not accessible. In the case of protected, both the variable A and B will be in protected mode, right? Syntax for declaring base and derived class. So we have class, parent class, that is your class name, open the curly braces, close the curly braces, semicolon. Then we'll be using single colon operator. So scope resolution operator is double colon, where it is single colon. So class is a keyword, child class, colon, what is the visibility mode, whether it is public, private, or protected. Then the parent class will have open braces and close braces, semicolon, right? Now single inheritance is defined as inheritance in which a derived class is inherited from the only one base class. So we have A is a base class, B is a derived class. Now single inheritance, if you see the single inheritance, right, I have the class account, I have declared the salary as 60,000, and then I have account, right, and I say that they are providing bonus to the programmer, say it is 5,000. So what is the salary and what is the bonus? So I'll be having p1 dot salary and p1 dot bonus. And one moreover, students, here base class is account, derived class is programmer. We'll be creating object for the derived class. So what will happen is automatically it can access the parent class also, parent class variable. Now, similarly here, I have human as a base class, and then Dhoni is one of the human, and I get the details, age, name, and height. Okay, and then I print. So I should create an object for the derived class Dhoni. Right, now here what happens is, now age is private within this context. So what happens is private, age, public, string name, protected, height. So here age is private, so I will not be able to access it, right? Now similarly we have another program where we have given private int age equal to 12, right, string name protected, but here the scope is different. So since the scope is different, what will happen is you will be able to get the name and the height. So it is private, so I'm not accessing age because they didn't give permission, so I don't go for print values of age. Okay. Next, multiple inheritance. Multiple inheritance is a process of deriving a new class that inherits the attributes of two or more classes. So it will be having n number of parent. So class, that is a derived class, so it's your protected public or private, and the base class 1, base class 2, and comma operator is used for the separation of these base classes, and it continues, and will be having open curly braces and close curly braces. Now let us see the example of multiple inheritance. So I have class A, class B, where A and B variable is declared, and you have the class C where I try to access the variables from class A and class B, and here I have the constructor where I am going to assign the value of A, B and C, and finally I am going to add these three variables, right? So finally, who is a child, ultimate child? C. So I should create object for C, and then object dot sum. So you will get the added values of these A plus B plus C, that is 18. Now, hierarchical inheritance. Hierarchical inheritance is defined as a process of deriving more than one class from a base class. Right? Now, here this is the syntax. So, you have the base class A. So, child B is also inheriting A, child C is also inheriting A, right? So in the hierarchical inheritance, what happens is I have class A variable A, and then I have class B. What I do, I add these two numbers. It is having A, B, I'm adding. Then there is another class C which is once again accessing this A, and I'm adding these two numbers, right? This is A plus B, but this is A plus C. So I should create the object. Now B is one of the child class, C is another child class. You should create object for B separately and C separately, and using dot operator you are supposed to access this sum. So here I'm going to add, and here I'm going to multiply. So multi-level inheritance is a process of deriving class from another derived class, right? So this is like a parent, then child, then a grandchild. So you have animal, right? You have eat, and then I have dog. Dog is what it do, it will bark, and then I have baby dog, right? And it will weep. So first, the last ultimate child is baby dog. I'll be creating object for baby dog, and then I'll invoke this eat, then they'll invoke this bar, then I'll invoke this weep. Okay, so ultimately I'll get eating, barking, and weeping. Then multi-level inheritance, let us say in another example. Now see, I have class A, int A I am assigning, class B where I have int B. Now class C I have int C. Now C is the constructor where I assign the value of A, B, C, and mul is the function where I multiply these three objects. So the ultimate child is C, the grandchild is C. So I create object for that, and I invoke this multiple function. This is multi-level inheritance. Hybrid inheritance. Hybrid inheritance is a combination of more than one type of inheritance, right? So I can have multi-level inheritance, or I can have single inheritance also. So I have vehicle, car derived from vehicle, then racing, right? So Ferrari derived from car plus racing, right? Now this is an example for multi, that is hybrid inheritance, which includes this multi-level and single inheritance. So if you see, let us see from main. So Ferrari F, I am creating the object. Now if you see, the Ferrari is the ultimate child where it is having two parents, that is car as well as racing. Now car is saying what, this is a car, and racing is saying what, this is for racing. Okay, and actually Ferrari, what he says, Ferrari is a racing car. Now who is the ultimate parent for everyone? That is vehicle. So in the output we'll get this is a vehicle, then this is a car, and this car is for racing, and Ferrari is a person who is racing that car, right? Virtual base class or multipath inheritance. The virtual base class is a concept used in multiple inheritances to prevent ambiguity between multiple instances, right? We prevent ambiguity. Suppose B is inheriting from A, C is inheriting from A, and D inherits from B and C. So what D can do is it can directly inherit from A. right? So ambiguity resolution in inheritance. So I have class A, I have class B, I have display function, I have class C which inherits both from A and B, right? I create object for the ultimate child C and I invoke the function display, right? But now display is ambiguous. You have in class A, class B, right? So there is a confusion. So you can directly inherit from the parent class, right? So what I can do is I can so I should have in my class A colon colon display and B colon colon display. Thank you, students.